And good morning, everyone. Please stand by. Please stand by. We have an unannounced special. Sure we do. It's a Sunday morning game of Strat-O-Matic baseball. That's right. Just felt like playing. And good morning, Trent, and welcome. Well, you know, I woke up way too damn early, but other than that, I can't complain. We're going to have a game here. I'm going to skip ahead. The 1 p.m. Pacific start, which will be, what is that game again? The Braves at the Giants. That will remain at 1 o'clock as announced. So we'll jump ahead at one game on the schedule. This morning I will bring you the Chicago White Sox at the Washington Senators. Tommy John on the mound for Chicago. Phil Ortega for Washington. Let me get my coffee and we'll get to the particulars. Okay, there we go. Sunday morning coffee game. I love it. Tommy John, the lefty, 2.62 ERA in 33 starts. Great season by John. Ortega, a very respectable 3.92. Only 158 hits allowed in 197 innings. That's actually a nice card. He's got a little dinger problem, but not a lot of on base. Let me go ahead and look that up on the computer game. I do have the other laptop. It is not stable, but right now it's working. Ortega very backwards. He's very tough on lefties. Tommy John, as you would expect, quite a bit tougher against left-handers. Here's the lineups for you today. For the White Sox, it'll be Tommy Agee leading off in center field. Don Buford is at second base. Floyd Robinson in right. Pete Ward, the third baseman, bats fourth. Tom McCraw is back at first base, with John Romano doing the catching, hitting sixth. Ken Berry will get a start today in left field with his 1E3+1. Ron Hansen is the shortstop, and Tommy John to do the pitching. For Washington, it will be Fred Valentine leading off. He's back in right field. Eddie Brinkman, the shortstop, bats second. Ken McMullen at third base. Big Frank Howard in left field, hitting cleanup. Don Locke will be in center. John Orsino, represented by the nameless card, will be at first base. He's a weak, and the one change we will make to this card, it's pretty close, except for the home runs will become singles, much like a homer off of the pitcher for a weak hitter. Ken Hamlin will be at second base. Doug Camilli will catch and bat eighth. Ortega will hit ninth. So with that, we're just about ready to get underway here on a Sunday morning. It's warmed up in Spokane, 33 degrees this morning. Still a shit ton of snow on the ground. And the umpire says play ball. Phil Ortega has completed his warm-ups. Tommy Agee steps in from the right side. Here's the wind-up in the first pitch of the ball game. That's a 110 against the righty. That's a high fly ball deep to left field. Howard back on it now at the track, and he makes the catch for the out. So Agee flies out to left. Here's Don Buford now, switch hitter, batting left-handed against Ortega. And here's the wind-up on the pitch. That's going to be a 4-7 to the left-hander. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Buford's down on strikes. Here's Floyd Robinson now, left-handed batter. Ortega, the windup, pitch to Robinson, a 3-5 against a righty, a ground ball down to second base. That's going to be Hamlin. He's got it. Throws over to Orsino, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Phil Ortega. We played a half an inning. White Sox, nothing. Senators coming to bat. Still waking up here, so bear with me. I've got my coffee going. I was up very early, though. Still, there's no such thing as too much coffee. Well, I guess there can be. I try to cut it off in the afternoon and switch to decaf tea. Okay, Washington coming to bat in the bottom of the first. Here's Fred Valentine to lead things off against Tommy John. Valentine, of course, a switch hitter. He'll be hitting righty against TJ. John, the sign from Romano. Here's the windup. The pitch is a 3-9 against the lefty. Comebacker, John snares it. Flips over to McCraw, 1 down. Here's Eddie Brinkman now, the right-handed hitting shortstop. Known more for his glove than his bat, of course. He surprised me with an occasional power. He had a homer in one game. He had 7 homers this season. He's an N against righties, believe it or not, a week against Tommy John. And here's the pitch, a 5-4 to the righty. It's going to be a fly to center field X. That's going to be Agee. Agee gold glove caliber with a 1-E8 as he ranges into the gap. Here's the roll on the play. He makes a nice running catch for the out. And with 2 away, Ken McMullen will be the batter. McMullen, the right-hander, came over from the Dodgers with Frank Howard in the Claude Osteen trade last year, and here's the roll. The pitch is a 6-3 to the right-hander. Base hit right up the middle. McMullen has a 2-out single. So Ken McMullen's aboard, 2 down, and up to the plate strides Big Frank Howard. John set now, and from the stretch, the pitch to Howard, a 5-2 to the right-hander. 5-2 versus the lefty is a pop-up, 5-2 against a right-handed batter is a shallow fly ball to left field. Barry coming in, still coming, finally does catch up with it and makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, a hit. 1 left on. We've completed an inning, and there is no score. My apologies. Yeah, you can probably tell I'm not 100% with it yet, but we'll get into the groove of the game, hopefully. And it's going to be Ward, McCraw, and Romano for the White Sox in the second inning. Both teams come into this game with identical 4-5 records on the season, which would put them in the standings. Let's take a quick look. That would put both of them in a 3-way tie with Kansas City, 3.5 games back of league-leading Minnesota. So here's Pete Ward to lead things off now in the second inning. Ortega ready to work. The right-hander deals a 2-5 against the righty. That's going to be a solid base hit into right field for Ward. A liner. Valentine's over to pick it up, and Ward is aboard with a leadoff single. Here's Tommy McCraw now, left-handed hitter. Ortega from the stretch now. That's going to be a 1-7 against the right-hander. Fly ball to right field. That's playable for Valentine. He drifts over a bit and puts it away. One away. And here's John Romano, the catcher. Romano, a right-handed hitter. Let's see, that year he hit .231 in 329 at-bats with 15 home runs. So Romano does have some pop. First pitch from Ortega is outside for a ball. Now he gets his sign from the stretch. Pitch to Romano, a 5-12 to the righty. That's a grounder to first base X. That's going to be Orsino, a 5-E25. So hold your breath on this one. On a 6, he can't get it. That's going to be a single 1-star. Ward will hold at second. And that will be a single by Romano, first and second, one away. Just getting started and just still waking up. Here's Ken Berry, first and second, one down. Ortega from the stretch now. Pitch to Berry. That's a 4-5 to the right-hander. Fly ball to right field, playable for Valentine. He's there. Ward could tag up and go to third on that. Valentine a -1. Ward a 12, 14, 13. He's going to stay put. And Ron Hansen will be the hitter. First and second, 2 away, just getting started here. Grab a cup and spend part of your Sunday morning with me. From the stretch now, pitch to Hansen. That's a 3-11 against the righty. Foul ball, left side. McMullen drifting over. He's there. And that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, and a pair left. And we are still scoreless. Locke, Orsino, and Hamlin do up here for Washington in the bottom of the inning. Here's Tommy John now. He winds and deals. The pitch to Locke is a 1-7 against the left-hander. That's going to be a double to 6, and the roll is a 6, and he just barely gets it. Drive into left field. Berry can't play it. He rounds it back up and rounds it in, and it's a leadoff double for Don Locke. So Locke with the leadoff double, and here's Orsino, right-handed batter, weak power. Again, any homer on his card will be changed to a single 2-star. John the windup, the pitch, a 5-8 to the right-hander. Grounder to shortstop, Hansen has it. Throws him out, one down, runner will hold. And that'll bring up Ken Hamlin with one away. Hamlin, a right-handed hitting infielder. John gets his sign. Here's the windup. Pitch to Hamlin, a 4-5 to the right-hander. Fly ball into right field. Robinson drifts over a bit. Under it now and makes the catch for the out, 2 away. And Doug Camilli will be the batter. Tommy gets his sign. Here's the pitch to Doug. 3-8 against the left-hander. A single to 5, and on a 2, that's in there. Single ripped into left field past the shortstop. Berry on it very quickly. Locke's going to have to hold up at third. And it's a 2-out single for Camilli. Runners at the corners, 2 down, and the pitcher will come up now. That's Ortega. He's a right-handed hitter. Weak. John with the pitch. 5-7 to the righty. It's a ground ball to second base X. That's going to be Buford, a 4E39. Here's the play on a 3. Buford can't get it. Single, 2 stars. That's going to drive in the ball game's first run. Lock in to score. Camille will take third. RBI single Ortega. How about that? Phil Ortega, a one-hitting pitcher with the first RBI of the game. And here's Valentine. Runners at the corners. Tommy trying to get out of this now. From the stretch, pitch to Valentine. A 1-6. Base hit into right field. That's going to drive in another run. Here comes Camille in to score. Ortega can try to go to third on that. Right field is Robinson, a +1. Ortega, a 10 with 2 outs, 12-13. There's no sense in that. He'll hold up. So Camille comes in to score. Ortega will stop at second. And that's an RBI single for Valentine. It's 2-0 Washington. And here's Eddie Brinkman. John gets his sign. Here's the pitch. 5-6. Struck him out. Took something off of that one. He got the third out. That will retire the side. The Senators do come up with 2 runs, however, on 4 hits, and they leave a pair. We've played 2 here in the capital city. It is Washington 2, Chicago nothing. I want to thank all of you for dropping in this morning. I tell you, I enjoy the camaraderie, and I enjoy bringing you these ball games. Tommy John will lead things off in the third. He is a right-handed batter with N power. Kind of a one-off for John. Not really a good hitting pitcher from my recollection. But apparently this season he was. Ortega ready to work now. The windup. Pitch to TJ is a 1-3. It's a fly ball into right. That's playable for Valentine. He drifts over and puts it away. Valentine's been busy out there so far early in the game in right. Here's Tommy Agee now. 1 down. Here's the windup and the pitch. It's going to be a 2-11 against the right-hander. A grounder down to shortstop. Eddie Brinkman has it. Smooth fielded play and throws him out at first. And that'll bring up Buford. Buford struck out his first time up. Also botched that play in the bottom of the second that led to another run. Ortega, the pitch to Buford, a 5-11 to the left-hander. That's a 2-hopper down to second base. Hamlin's got it. Throws over to Orsino, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ortega. So Ortega looking really good out there in the early going. John's had some struggles. He's already surrendered 5 hits. Get a little sip of coffee there. Heart of the order for Washington. McMullen, Howard, and Locke as we move to the bottom of the third. Tommy John gets the sign from Romano now. Here's the windup. The pitch to McMullen. 5-11 to the right-hander. It's a grounder to first base X. That's going to be McCraw. He's a 2E16. So he ranges to his right. Here's the roll on the play. On a 9, the error range. E16, the roll is a 10. He makes a fine play. Throws to Tommy John covering. Oh, that was nice. Nice play, McGraw. And a well-timed feed to Tommy John. Here's Frank Howard now. John into the windup, the pitch to Big Frank. That's going to be a 1-8, double to 14. That's whistled into the left center gap. Barry chasing it down, Howard rounding. Howard will be into second with a 1-out double. So Big Frank lumbering in with a double, and here's Don Locke. John battling himself a bit out there today so far. Romano going out to the mound, and good morning, Bob Cole. Welcome, sir. How's your day going? Okay, they've had their little conference. Now Romano's back behind the plate. John's ready to go. The windup, the pitch to Locke. The 5-9 to the righty. Fly ball to center field. That's Agee. He's under it, and there's 2 away. Yeah, and here's John Orsino now. Here's the pitch from TJ. On a 2-10, that's a base hit into center, an open single. Howard could try to score on that. Agee, however, has a -3 gun out there, and Howard's a 1-8. With 2 out, 10, -3, 1-7. Now he's going to hold up. Howard holds up at third. Runners at the corners and 2 down, and Ken Hamlin will be the hitter. 2 more hits off of Tommy John. That's 7 hits now, and we're only in the 3rd inning. Trying to get it together. Deep breath now, and from the stretch, the pitch to Ken Hamlin is a 4-4 grounder to third base X. That's going to be Pete Ward. He's a 4-10 down there. And here's the play. On a 7, error range. So we've got an E10 on a roll of a 7, and Ward makes a sparkling play and throws him out to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, they leave a pair. We have completed 3. It's 2-0 Senators. And here's Phil Ortega now. He's looked very sharp so far in this game. As Floyd Robinson will lead it off for Chicago. Top of the 4th, 2-0. A balmy 17. It's warmed up here. It's 32 in Spokane, and it's still early. Still an awful lot of snow on the ground, however. But we'll warm up for a few days, and then probably another storm will come in. Here's Floyd Robinson to lead it off for Chicago. Ortega ready to work now. The windup. Pitch to Floyd, a 4-11 to the left-hander. It's a fly ball to center and shallow. Here comes Locke, still coming. He does catch up with it and makes the catch for the out. And that's going to bring up Pete Ward. Ward singled his first time up. Warm up these dice. The pitch from Ortega. It's a 6-7 to the left-hander. Grounder to second base X. That'll be Hamlin. Hamlin's a 3E24 as he ranges behind the bag. On an 11, that will be the error range. So we've got an E24. The roll is a 7, and he boots it. Error Hamlin. And Pete Ward is aboard with 1 down. Here's Tommy McCraw now. Ortega from the stretch. The pitch to McCraw is a 2-11. That's going to be a ground ball to first base. Orsino has it. His only play is to Ortega covering, and the runner will take second. So ground ball C, runner advances. 2 down, and here's John Romano. Ortega trying to get out of this now. He's been almost perfect so far, and here's the pitch to Romano. 6-10 to the righty. It's a fly ball into left field. Easy play for Frank Howard. Barely has to move, and that will retire the side. Nothing doing for the White Sox in the fourth. Going to the bottom of the inning, it's still a 2-0 ball game. John trying to settle in. He'll be facing Camille, Ortega, and Valentine here in the bottom of the inning. Here's Camille now. Tommy's ready. The windup. Pitch to Camille is a 1-6. That's a tapper down to shortstop. Hansen coming in on it now. On the run. Throws him out. And that'll bring up Phil Ortega. Ortega, an RBI single his first time up. Although, to be honest, that was generous scoring in this broadcaster's opinion, as Buford should have had that. Here's the windup. The pitch of 5-9 against the right-hander. Fly ball into center, medium deep. Agee drifting now and puts it away 2 down. And with 2 away, it'll be Fred Valentine. Switch hitter batting righty. The windup, the pitch from TJ. That's a 4-5 against the right-hander. Fly ball into right field. That's going to be playable for Robinson. He's right there in a 1-2-3 inning for Tommy John, who seems to have settled down now. We've got 4 completed here in Washington. It's a 2-0 game. Anybody's game just getting underway here on a Sunday morning. The coffee game, as I like to call it. I'll be back for the tea game at 1 p.m. Pacific. Bottom of the order for the Chi Sox. Barry, Hansen, and TJ. Ortega's ready to go now. He gets his sign from Camille. Here's the windup and the pitch to Barry. A 6-10 to the right-hander. Fly ball to left field. It's playable for Frank Howard. He's there to make the catch, 1 away. That'll bring up Ron Hansen, 0 for 1. Ortega, the windup. The pitch to Hansen, a 1-7. Fly ball into center. Agee coming in a bit now. Locke coming in a bit now. He'll make the catch for the out. I beg your pardon. That's Don Locke in center. And here's Tommy John. Right-handed batter and power. The pitch is a 4-6, and he walks him. Ortega walks the opposing pitcher with 2 down. And that'll give Tommy Agee a shot. Chi Sox trail by 2. We're in the 5th. From the stretch now, here's Ortega's delivery. A 2-12, a liner right at McMullen. He makes the catch, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, they leave 1. And the tension mounting in what is still a 2-0 ball game. And wow, Trent, it sounds to me like pretty much the whole country is having weather. Well, it is January after all, is to be expected, I suppose. That doesn't make me like it any better. But as the man said, it is what it is. It's going to be Brinkman, McMullen, and Howard for Washington. Tommy John gets his sign. The windup pitch to Eddie Brinkman is a 6-3 against the righty, and that's a ground ball. It's going to find its way right up the middle and into center field for a leadoff single. Brinkman, a decent base stealer. He's a star 15. John's a +1. Romano a +1. That would be 17. He'll have to be held on, making him a 15. With the 8 and 10 automatic caught, however, he will not be trying for the lead. Instead, Ken McMullen will swing away. John from the stretch. Pitch to McMullen, a 2-4. He pops him up on the left side. Hansen under it. Infield fly rule, 1 down. And here's Frank Howard. John from the stretch. The pitch to Big Frank. A 2-6 fly to center field. AG ranges to his right a bit and puts it away, 2 down. And here's Don Locke now with 2 away, runner at first. Tommy gets the sign. He pitch to Locke. 3-4 to the lefty. He struck him out. So down goes Locke. That'll do it for Washington. No runs to hit. They leave 1. We've got 5 innings in the books, and it is 2-0 Senators. Hey, and welcome to Yankee Bob. This is an early game, yes. I get a wild hair every now and then. And thank you. Boy, was that some kind of a game or what? Bob's referring, of course, to the 14-inning Yankee game. Walked off by Tom Tresh, a 2-homer game. Tresh was the player of the game, of course. "14 innings and an hour and 54 minutes. Both easily highs for me in this replay. As Ortega gets ready to go to work in the 6th, it'll be Buford, Robinson, and Ward for Chicago. Ortega's into the windup now. The pitch to Buford, a 4-7 to the left-hander, swung on and missed, strike 3. And is that his first K? I think it is. No, he had one in the first inning. Only the second strikeout for Ortega. And here's Floyd Robinson. Robbie 0 for 2. Ortega the windup. Pitch a 5-7. Struck him out. He caught the corner. Oh, Robinson's shaking his head as he walks away. He does not like it. On the other hand, the Sox have only mustered 2 hits off of Ortega today so far. And here's Pete Ward now. And here's the windup and the pitch to Pete. It's a 1-4. Struck him out, and Ortega whiffs the side. Wow, just when I was saying he wasn't getting many strikeouts today, he goes out there and strikes out the side. And still nothing doing for Chicago. Speaking of cold, it's 25 in Myrtle Beach. Wow, isn't that unusual? It sounds like it should be. That is Florida we're talking, right? Geography, not one of my strong suits, but I think it is. I'm going to refill my coffee quickly before we pick up the bottom of the 6th. Excuse me. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, yes. Well, still very unusual. How do you like South Carolina, Bob? I read somewhere that is an excellent place to retire I was reading some stuff recently on, Google searches, best places to retire and whatnot. The Carolinas always seem to come up. My guess is it's pretty humid, though. I don't care for humidity. I don't mind the heat, but I like the dry heat. Bottom of the sixth, Tommy John ready to go now. It'll be Orsino, Hamlin, and Camille. John into his windup. The pitch to Orsino on a 112, fly to center field. Routine for Tommy Agee. He's got it, and there's one down. Here's Ken Hamlin now. John, the windup and the pitch. That's going to be a 110. Hamlin rips that over the bag into right field and down the line. Robinson over to get it. Hamlin's turning, and he's going to cruise into second with a stand-up double. On a 110, a clean double. And Hamlin's at second. And that'll bring up Doug Camille. Doug's 1 for 2 today. What's Myrtle Beach known for? I'm thinking, this just comes off the top of my early morning head. Is there a spring training park there in Myrtle Beach? Is there golf? There's a famous golf course, I think. Something like that. There you go. There you go. I wasn't too far off, at least. Okay, that makes me feel better, Bob. Thank you. Here's Camille now. Runner at second, one down. Pitch from TJ is a 3-4. He pops him up, left side. Ward under it, infield fly rule, 2 away. And here's Phil Ortega now. Right-handed batter. Tommy gets his sign. Pitch to Ortega, a 6-7 to the righty, and he walks him. Oh my goodness, a 2-out walk to the pitcher. And that's going to bring Fred Valentine to the plate with runners at first and second. John pacing around behind the mound now. Now back on top, toes the rubber. Here's the windup and a pitch to Valentine. A 6-8 to the righty, swung on and missed strike 3, and that will do it. So no runs, a hit, 2 left on for Washington. After 6 complete, it is still 2-0. And this game moving very briskly, as they tend to do when there's not much scoring. To the 7th we go. Ortega, his first inning of possible fatigue. He is an S7. And it will be McCraw, Romano, and Berry for the White Sox. McCraw standing in from the left side. Ortega gets his sign. Here's the windup. The pitch is a 6-7, a grounder to second base X. That's going to be Hamlin, 3E24, ranging to his left. Here's the play. That is not flat. That's going to have to be a re-roll on the 20. On a 9 error range, E24, the roll was an 8, and he makes the play for the out. So 4-3X, 1 down, and here's John Romano. Ortega just cruising along with a 2-hitter here so far. Here's the windup and the pitch to Romano. 4-5 to the righty. A fly ball into right field. Fading back on it a bit is Valentine. He's there now. Reaches up and puts it away. And that'll bring up Ken Berry, 0 for 2. Here's the windup and the pitch to Berry. On a 1-8 against the righty. He struck him out. 1-2-3. Go Chicago. 7 in a row retired by Ortega now. Seems to be finishing with a flourish. And we go to the bottom of the 7th in what is still a 2-0 ball game. The Senators scored 2 runs in the second inning, and they've held up to this point. As TJ gets ready to work, it will be Brinkman, McMullen, and Howard for Washington. Tommy's into the windup now. He pitched to Eddie Brinkman, a 3-7 against the lefty. Single to 11, but on a 20, that line drive is going to be right into the glove of Pete Ward, and there's one down. So 3-7 single to 11, liner to third on a 20, 1 away. And here's McMullen. McMullen's 1 for 3. John into the windup. A 6-5 to the right-hander. High fly ball to deep left field. Back, gone on a 1. Can you believe it? Ken McMullen has just hit a fence scraper. Barry went back to get it. He leaped at the wall. It looked like he had a glove on it, but it just did clear. They're reviewing the play now, and yes, it is a home run. 6-5 to a righty, homer to 2. McMullen has the power. The roll is a 1, and Ken McMullen has just made it 3-0 with a fence scraper here in the 7th. Holy cow. And for McMullen now, that is his 2nd home run of the season. And his teammates mob him as he crosses the plate. Here's Frank Howard now. Activity in the Sox pen. Dennis Higgins loosening. Here's John's pitch to Big Frank. That's going to be a 6-3 to the righty. Base hit right up the middle, Frank Howard. So Howard with a 1-out single, and now one more hit or walk, of course, will fatigue Tommy John. And the batter will be Don Locke. From the stretch, here's John's delivery. A 3-8 against the lefty. He walks him. He walks him. Here comes Eddie Stanky, and that's going to be it for Tommy John. TJ, of course, always a favorite of mine for many reasons. And, of course, we all know about the famous elbow surgery that bears his name. Higgins will be coming in. So John lasts 6 1/3. He was knocked around pretty good for 11 hits. And welcome John West. And absolutely Yankee Bob. All 3 fantastic fielding center fielders. Tommy John, as usual, doesn't walk many, although he walked 2 in this game. And he struck out 3. Here's Dennis Higgins now, a righty. And that will mean the end of Orsino, whose nameless card was really only applicable against a left-handed pitcher. And since I do not have the computer card in front of me, we'll have to go to the bench. They would have replaced him for defense after this inning anyway, actually. So that seems like a good time for Dick Nan. He can bat and stay in at first. Nana 2E15, a marked improvement over Orsino's 5E25. Okay, Higgins in now. He's ready to work. First and second, one away. Senators lead by 3. Here's the pitch to Dick Nan on a 2-6, a liner, speared by McCraw. Locked just back to the bag. Two away, and here's Hamlin. The pitch to Hamlin, a 2-6 against the righty. Grounder down to short. That's going to be Hansen. He'll go the short way to Buford, and that will do it. But the Senators add another one on the Ken McMullen blast. They leave a pair. After 7 complete, they lead it 3-0. Boy, I've got so many Strat projects going on right now, it's not even funny. I'm going to make a frickin' video stream sometime of all my projects and call it Strat-O-Holic or something like that. And good point, Yankee Bob. You know, I've wondered the same thing over and over. And another picture from that exact same period, El Tiante. If you look at Tiant and John, numbers very comparable to Cott. I think they should both be in, but as I've said many times, I believe that the Hall of Fame is way too exclusive. There should be a lot more players in. Now, there are many people who feel exactly the opposite. They'll say it's been watered down and it really should only be Ruth, Hornsby, Mantle Mays, Koufax, etc. But that horse has already left the barn. Oh, and I'll tell you what, John, since we're so close to the completion of the game, if you want to stick around for the wrap-up, I'll run them down briefly. But for right now, let's try to get this one in. Sox trying to get off the deck. It'll be Hansen. A batter for Higgins. Boy, I did it again. I didn't look for the double switch. Dad blasted. Well, that's all right. We'll just use another pitcher. Here's Hansen to lead it off against Ortega, who's sailing along with a brilliant 2-hitter. The windup and the pitch. That's a 2-12 against the righty. Base hit up the middle for Hansen. He's aboard to lead off the 8th. And I will say, John, that only 2 of my projects are card and dice on YouTube. The others are all computer, online, and a few I'm just playing around with on the new Baseball Max on the Strat-O-Matic website. We'll have a batter now. Higgins, 2/3 of an inning, he retired the only batters he faced. John, 3 runs, all earned. Although, again, this play here, second base X. Who will be due up for Washington? Bruce Howard's going to get loose. Bob Locker in real life, but this really isn't a Locker situation. And now we will have a pinch hitter for Higgins. And that's going to be Smokey Burgess. Okay, Burgess standing in from the left side now. Runner on first, nobody out. Ortega from the stretch. On a 6-8, he pops him up, first base side. Nen, inserted into the game for defense, makes the putout. And there's one away. And hello, Franklin, and hello, Rick. And yes, Rick, and I respect that. We obviously agree to disagree there. So let me ask you then. I don't know if you were here when Yankee Bob started the topic, but do you think that Tommy John and Louis Tiant should be in? Either, both, neither? Just something to throw out there. One down, here's Agee. Activity now in the Washington pen as Casey Cox begins to loosen. From the stretch, the pitch to Agee. It's a 4-10 to the right-hander, fly to left field and shallow. Here comes Howard. He's still lumbering in, and he catches up to it. Nice play, Frank Howard. 2 down, and here's Buford. Ortega from the stretch. That's going to be a 1-6 base hit into center. That's an open single. Hansen can try to go to third on that. Locks a -2. Hansen a 1 through 11. 2 outs, 1 to 13, -2, 1 to 11. He'll hold up. So Hansen holds at second on the base hit by Buford. First and second, 2 down. One more hitter walk now will fatigue Ortega. And here's Floyd Robinson. Ortega taking his time now. Gets his sign from Camille. He shakes one off. Now nodding. The windup, the pitch to Robinson. It's a 1-8, tapper down to first base. Nen has it, underhands to Ortega covering, and the shutout is intact. No runs, 2 hits, they leave a pair. And here's Bruce Howard coming on now to pitch for Chicago. 2.30 in 149 innings. Starter reliever. And it will be Camille, Ortega, and Valentine for Washington. No, that's fair. And Franklin, I'd vote for Boog. And Rick, Bob's point was, why is Cott in and not Tommy John? Then I threw in Tiant. I mean, all three pitched in basically the same era and had basically similar numbers. In fact, I would say that Tiant was the best of the three if I had to be pressed on the matter. Here's Camille now. Howard ready to work. Right-handed pitcher. Righty on right. The windup. That's going to be a 2-6 comebacker. Howard has it. Over to first, 1 away. And Ortega will bat. He's going for the shutout. Right-handed batter. The pitch is a 5-11 to the right-hander. It's a fly to right field X. That's going to be Robinson, a 2E12. Not a whole lot of X plays in this game. Here's the play. On a 15, he makes the catch for the out. And with 2 down, it will be Fred Valentine. Valentine will turn around and bat lefty now against Howard. He's 1 for 3 today. And here's the pitch for Howard. A 4-11 to the left-hander. Flight of left field X. That's going to be Barry. He's a 1E3. Coming in, charging now. 14. He's there and makes the catch to retire the side. 1-2-3 inning for Howard. We've completed 8, and it's 3-0 Washington. And as Washington normally does in these situations, they're going to bring in Willie Kirkland to take over in left field for Frank Howard. Kirkland a 2E5 with a -2. So Frank Howard's out of the ball game. Willie Kirkland will take over in left. Ortega trying to get the complete game shutout. He's got to go through Ward, McCraw, and Romano. Fasten your seatbelts. We go to the 9th. Yeah, Joel says Tiant should go in on his Fu Manchu alone. Franklin, by that standard, fingers with his handlebar. Well, maybe we could just have a separate mustache Hall of Fame, huh? Give it its own little room. Okay, Ward, here he is. He's 1 for 3. Ortega trying to finish it. The windup. Pitch to Pete Ward is a 6-6 to the left. He gets a liner right into the glove of Eddie Brinkman, and there's 1 down. Here's Tommy McCraw now. McCraw 0 for 3 today. Ortega gets his sign from Camille. The windup. The pitch is a 6-8 to the lefty. Pops him up right side. Nen calling for it. 2 away. And it will be up to John Romano. Ortega staring in now, very deliberate. He wants that shutout. Here he goes now. He sets the windup, the pitch to Romano. 1-5, swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's the ball game. It's a complete game shutout for Phil Ortega. 3-0 Washington. Holy cow, Ortega. He takes the win. Tommy John will take the loss. Ortega, 4-hit shutout. And he's your Chief Spokane Gary player of the game. Lolich was a good pitcher. I'd have to look at his record more closely, Bob, but he had a couple of really great years, and then a bulk of a career that to me didn't seem quite as good, and perhaps my memory is failing me there. I will admit I would have to look at that more closely. And Franklin, both teams came in with identical 4-5 records, so this one could have gone either way. Ortega only walked 1 batter. He was in complete command from the get-go, striking out 6. Howard with a scoreless inning of relief. So for Washington, 3 runs, 11 hits. They made an error. White Sox, no runs, 4 hits, no errors. Thank you, Bob. You too. Oh yeah, I could talk about the Hall of Fame all day. I'm sure you guys could too. For Ortega, that's his first decision of the season. He's 1-0. Tommy John came in 1-1. He drops to 1-2. 1 home run in the game, Ken McMullen. And as I promised, I will briefly touch on some of my projects. I'm doing a 1974 Los Angeles Dodgers replay with the original 1974 cards. That's a live stream. On the Windows game, I'm currently doing a 1982 full season replay. I also am in 5 present-day keeper leagues on the Windows game that are preparing for the annual rookie draft. That's 5 teams, keeper teams. I have 2 retro keeper leagues on there. One of them is currently playing the 1970 season, and the other one is in between seasons. We just finished the 1978 season, preparing for the rookie draft for 79. On 365 online, I currently have 4 teams, and I'm playing around with 4 different leagues on the new Baseball Max game. So what is that? 4, 8, 13, 15, 16, plus the 2 replays on here. This one would be 17. And the Dodger card and dice, which is only 162 games, would be 18 projects. So yes, Strat-O-Holic indeed. Oh, Jesus, Joel, I must spend 8 hours a day. At least 6. And John, the Max has a lot of issues, but it is a beta test. I signed up to volunteer to be a beta tester, and I feel like I've spent almost as much time reporting bugs as I have playing. I almost don't even count those, because a lot of those I'll just quick play it through 6 or 7 innings and then make changes for the last 2 or 3 innings. Just trying to get the flow of the game and help them to work out the bugs in it. To this point, I'd say I'm not overly impressed. It kind of mirrors the Windows game, but it's not as good. In fairness to them, however, I would say that, again, it's in the beta test, and if they do work out all the issues, it has the potential to be very good. It's just not there yet. So that moves this win here. This moves Washington to 500. They're 5-5 now. The Chi Sox dropped to 4-6. And I'll be back at my usual time, 1 p.m. Atlanta Braves, San Francisco Giants. Please join me for that. Meanwhile, I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a really great Sunday. Enjoy the day. And hopefully I'll see you later this afternoon. Thanks, guys. So long for now.